Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Damn Internet Too Scary presents Death and Scandal. This is a brand new show where we would talk about amazing and crazy deaths or amazing and crazy scandals. I'm Tahir Moore.
I'm Patrick Cloud.
And today we have a special guest, Mr. Cris Sosa. You guys know Cris Sosa.
What up, what up, what up?
You know what I'm saying? Squad member from the OG days. Amazing and talented comedian extraordinaire, creator, designer. Cris, you do it all, man.
Hey, appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, man. Gotta stay busy.
But you also got a lot of stories.
Oh yeah, man.
A lot of stories. I've actually heard a bunch of interesting Sosa stories, but this is by far my favorite.
Okay,
so here, you want to cue that up?
Yeah. So Sosa, walk us through exactly what happened and what you're about to tell us.
All right. So the headlines, man. The headlines, all the everything that went down, man, was woman arrested for hire for murder. No, murder for hire. Mm-hmm. That's what it was. Murder for hire. And no. The headlines on YouTube and like on the news shit, it was saying man fakes his death to catch his wife for a murder for hire case. That's what it is. So basically what went down, man, you said what?
I said, goddamn Carol Baskin.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, man, my dad almost got murdered by his second wife. A lot of people mistook it for my mom, and it's not my mom. So let me clear that up. But it was my mom, man. It's my dad's second wife. Crazy as hell, man. We always felt weird about her. Mm-hmm. There was something a little off, but it was like, hey, my dad's happy, cool. 4 years into the relationship, I'm out here in LA, so I don't really know all the juice of what went down in the relationship. But, my dad calls me, every day, from our hometown. He's in Houston. So he calls me all the time, every day. And so I haven't heard from him in like a week. And my dad calls me and like a week later, whatever. And he's like, where you at? I'm like, I'm at home. He said, you got to sit down for this one. And I was like, I'm already like, I hate that feeling, man. Cause I'm all the way out here in California, and I don't like that feeling, man. Every time I get a call from my parents or my brother at a late time, I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
Yo, that feeling of somebody calls you, be like, yo, or text you, and they be like, yo, I got to tell you something. You never know what's going to come after that, but 99% of the time you feel like it's going to be bad news.
Always. Yeah, man.
Dropping feeling.
Oh, the asshole just.
It just scares me, man. And I go deep. I'm like, who died and like what happened? Like a car accident.
You go to 100.
Yeah, right away. Right away. At an hour that you don't normally call me at, I freak out, man. So my dad, he told me to sit down. And he was just like, yo, so Lulu tried hiring somebody to murder me. I'm like, what?
No easy way to say that.
What? And he's like, yeah, I've been in this hotel, in his, quarantine, for the whole Houston police department had them all locked up in a hotel for a week during this whole case of catching, his ex-wife, on this scandal or whatever, everything that she tried doing. So basically how everything went down was, we have a family friend, his name's Mundo. And my dad, brought him in years before, he had like go ahead.
His real name is Mundo?
I know him as Mundo. I don't know if his real name is Mundo, but his name's Mundo.
Spell that?
Huh?
How do you spell that?
Mundo? Oh, M-U-N-D-O. Mundo.
Okay, that's exactly what I heard.
That's what I thought. It's just weird to be scrolling through your phone and be like, Mundo, how's he doing?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Cris.
No, it's all good. So Mundo had like he had a past, you know what I mean? He's out there in the streets and shit and, in and out of jail, whatever. But then he turned his life around and then, boxing, he really went under my dad's wing. And my dad's really like a very famous coach, a boxing coach out there in Houston. So he always took in like, the troublemakers or whatever. So we've known him. He's a family friend. He'd always look out for us. And he was always helping around in the gym and stuff. So he was the last one out the gym. And he overheard my dad's wife saying like, talking to somebody in Spanish, but then she was kind of just venting about my dad. He kind of knew that they were like, they weren't really doing well in the relationship, whatever. But she had mentioned something of like, I just wish he was gone, whatever. Like, what could we do about it? Some type of, that conversation,
But this
right?
was at your dad's gym.
At my dad's gym, she's on the phone, but my dad's not there. It's just her and then Mundo's like packing up. Yeah. And so he talks to her after like they're locking up the doors and stuff. He's like, hey, I hope everything's all right, man. I know you're going through some things, and that. And then she kind of mentioned it to him, kind of like venting of like, oh my gosh, I just wish it could just be gone. And so he kind of like was really watching her of like the way that she said it. He was paying attention to her expression and stuff. And it was like, yo, you're talking about like gone. And he kind of like did a gesture of like a gun. Like he did this with his hand and was like, you talking about you talking about gone, right? And she and then was like, yeah, like, cause he was like, cause it went to him like he had an instinct of like, oh shit, I gotta save this is like his like father figure, my dad. He was like, what the fuck? So he basically
never seen them together?
Huh?
He never seen these two people together?
Yeah. No, my dad and his wife, they worked at the gym together, and they knew of each other, family friends though. It was like they all hung out all the time, and is that what you're asking?
But the woman, I mean, you're the stepmom. That's what you're talking about, a stepmom?
Yeah.
Stepmom was like, she knew that this was your dad's like
friend,
homie,
well,
right?
Yeah. She knew that, but the thing was of like he finessed it in a way, man. He caught on to what she was saying, and he was just like, okay, cool, yada. And then, that's what it was. And then he ended up going home, and like it didn't sit well for him. And whenever he then like told my dad about it, he was like, nah, she's fucking pissed off, she's crazy, whatever. Then he took it upon himself to get like a little Walmart trap phone and like record the conversation the next day. But this time he was basically saying like, yo, if you're really trying to get this done, I know a guy who can get this done for you. Just give me a piece of the pie. I'll go out. I'll move out of Texas this way. You can move out of Texas that way. And we could just do it like that. Because they knew like my dad had it pretty well in Houston. So he was trying to basically one in on it. But really, he's just trying to save my dad. So he's just like, yeah, I got you. Just let me get a little piece of it. And so she believed him and like actually was like, he gave her the whole game plan. So they said, okay, cool. Right. And so then he told my dad, he let my dad listen to that shit. And my dad was just like, holy shit. Oh, this is real. Yo, she's trying to kill me. And he's like, yo, this is what we're going to do. They went and got another trap phone. Now that trap phone was Paco. That was Paco was the guy who's going to do it. Right.
But there was no Paco.
There was no Paco. But Paco is the guy
who made up the name Paco.
It was Mundo or my dad, one of them. They came up with
sat there and ideated Paco the hitman.
Yeah.
Were there sketch drawings?
No, man. It just was like, this is Paco, right? So yeah, so Paco's gonna hit you up. You're gonna get a message from Paco, right? So Paco is actually my dad texting his ex-wife.
Get the fuck out of here.
It's just, Chris, I can't make this shit up, man.
Here's the crazy thing. I've heard the story, but I haven't heard the details on this level. Like you're giving us everything. So I'm hearing this like for the first time too. I'm sorry.
Every time I hear it, there's more and more.
I need some popcorn.
Yeah, man. So my dad is like texting, they were together at one point, but then like Mundo and my dad were like by the phone and they're texting and saying like the things to say, whatever. And then like Mundo ended up going home and like my dad still had the phone and really got into character with this guy. Like he was really saying like, so what things, how much you're trying to give, this and that. And then she didn't have the amount of money that he wanted, Paco wanted. So she was like, I can offer you this, and sent him pictures of his truck, his jewelry, his watches, my dad's shit. She's sending pictures of my dad's truck and his jewelry, bro.
Let me ask you something. At this point, what was your dad and stepmom's relationship? Like, did they live together throughout all of this?
No. My dad ended up staying with his mom like a month or whatever before that, because they already agreed that. So this is the fucked up part of the whole fucking motive here. This is what we came up with, but we believe that they already agreed on getting a divorce. Paperwork and everything was going to happen. So the divorce was going to happen in September. this whole murder thing, she tried doing a month before they actually got divorced so that they could still be married while when he dies, she gets to keep all the shit, the gym, all his property, all of that shit.
A month before the divorce is final, she was like, let me just kill him. That way I can
right?
get the gym,
like,
the
bro,
truck.
what do you mean? How do I get rid of him? It's gonna happen in a month.
Yeah, but she wanted it all. She wanted everything, man. This is a lady, man, who she got her citizenship from marrying my dad. Like this was like some for real, like American dream type fucked up shit, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, if you really think about it, if you are willing to just take a random person who works and you've seen them with the person that you're married to, just some random hitman who takes a break and then is like, you know what, I will do this for you. You're dumb anyways. Like, she's clearly not very intelligent.
Yeah. But my mom makes the joke about, like, she'll be like, I wouldn't have gotten caught. My mom, but it was just, just lighten up the. We all the fucking joke, man.
Your mom is dark, bro. That is.
Yeah, it was some dark shit.
But like, you know what? The best jokes come for like the dark stuff, like, because I would have been like, Shorty was just riding around listening to on repeat. Girl, I want it all. I want it in a race. She was riding around texting Paco. Girl, I want it.
Yo, so basically they weren't living together at this time.
No.
So all this time that your dad knew she was doing this, they weren't in everyday contact.
No. He wouldn't be around her. He wouldn't be around her. Like, he didn't even go to the gym. Like, he didn't even go to work over there. He would just go to work, like his regular job. He works at FedEx, and so he just would go to work and then go to his mom's house.
So they weren't even communicating, and she's just
he wasn't fucking with her like that. They were just like, she ended up moving in, like, while my dad wasn't staying there. She ended up moving in her sister, her mom. Like, she ended up moving in to other people because my dad had a good sized house, all these rooms. So she straight up had like 2 families in there, with like multiple kids. It was crazy.
So wait, was the mom out of the country too? She moved the mom to the country to move in the house?
I think they were already moved into the country prior to that, but I don't know if they were living well, but they were.
Oh, okay, because she got her citizen, so she was already living here, but she wasn't a citizen when your dad met her.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
She got her citizenship from marrying my dad.
Gotcha.
And so, everything, all this stuff was happening, and they were able to get enough evidence to show to the police, text messages, the audio, and all these things. Once the police got it, Houston, they were just basically just like, all right, cool. We're gonna basically hire on this whole team and get this whole thing taken care of. And they put my dad in a hotel. They they hired an actual actor who played Paco. So they ended up hiring him. Mundo had to stay in it because he was the person who set it all up. So Mundo had to go into his own little character. He gets mic'd up, and he's feeling weird about that because he's like, holy shit, like, it's a whole circle. Like, it's a whole thing. He's like, wait, I used to not fuck with this shit, and now I'm a fucking snake. Like, it was a whole situation, And so they ended up doing that, and then they ended up putting my dad, because they basically had to really confirm that this is what she wanted.
Why?
And all the evidence and all these things.
They didn't have enough to do conspiracy?
That's what I was saying. Like, I feel like they needed more than enough, and then on top of that, like, they needed to see the picture of my dad. Like, they dug up a hole in the ditch and put a fake bullet hole on my dad's temple. They did the makeup and everything, like the blood too, like, dripping. They had some on his chest, and then they stripped him down to his underwears, and he was tied up, had some dirt on him, and took the picture. And then they hot wired a car, all these wires and audios, and then cameras all inside the car, and then told her to meet her in a parking lot, empty parking lot at like some hour at night. And then basically when she got in the car, Paco was there, showed her the picture, and she saw it, and you can see in the video, they show it all the time on all these news channels and websites.
Oh, it's accessible?
Yeah. You can see this audio. You can see the video and shit of her in the car. She sees the picture and she kind of smirks, and she's like, "Are you sure he's dead?" And she kind of like does this like little laugh of like, "Oh my gosh, oh, I can't wait to just like get away from his mother. I can't stand his mother. She was kind of just like,
well, wait, can you do it? Can you do kind of what she did in the video?
oh man, well it's all, she's saying it in Spanish, but really she's saying things like, she's looking at it, she said, "Are you sure that he's dead?" And she started chuckling about that. And then the Paco ended up telling her, "Yeah, man, he put up a good fight," which I actually like that they did that. They made my dad not look like he was a bitch. But he was like, "Yeah, he put up a good fight. He actually hurt my guys. You know, that's why they had to take him out like that, because he hurt my guys, this and that, but we're able to get it done." And then she's like, "Okay, cool." And then they had to exchange the money. So that was another piece of evidence that they needed, an exchange of money. So they saw that. And then right before she gets out, because she starts venting about how she's glad that she's not going to be around the mom anymore. She was so tired of my grandma and dealing with my dad's crap and all this. And then before she walks out, she turns around. She's like, "He's not going to get up from there, right?" And he was like, "No, you're good." So, okay. And walks out.
Ironically, he did.
Ironically, he did get out of there. And so then once they got all of that, basically the next day, they didn't even arrest her on the spot. They waited till the next day for her to show up at work like nothing's happening. The cop shows up. You know, a cop would show up if like somebody's missing or whatever. They'll go to the family. The cop was playing like that. Like, "Have you seen your husband?" Mm-hmm. And she was like, "No, I haven't seen." She was acting brand new. Like, she was like, "No, I haven't seen him. I haven't heard from him." You know, I tried calling his mom, because that was the other thing. The cops hid him from everybody. So not even his mom knew about this. Nobody. Like, my dad was unheard from for a week. And so
you didn't know about this either?
Nobody. I didn't know about it. Yeah. And so that's why whenever she called, she's asking like, you know, my grandma, she's calling my dad's job. My dad's job didn't even know about it. So she's saying, I'm calling everybody. Nobody's heard from, you know, Ramon. And when she did all of her little thing, he basically was just like, "Yo, turn around. You have the right to remain silent," and just cuffed her right there on the spot in front of her daughter and her mom. And took her. And she got 20 years for that.
Wow.
Dumbass.
So wait, let me ask you this, Chris. Well, a couple things. First of all, what was the price that they decided upon?
Oh, you're saying like to hold on one second. Like to kill my dad?
Yeah.
Well, she offered him $2,000 in cash, my dad's truck, and his jewelry.
2 racks?
Yeah.
So wait, what kind of truck was it?
It was a Silverado. It had 22s on it. It had like, you know, the system, speaker system. It was kind of decked out.
So it worth at least $10,000, possibly.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah, I think it was roughly like 15,000 of what
gotcha.
what they wanted. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. And when she was arrested, I'm sure that your dad insisted that her family move out the house. Did he sell that house?
Oh man, whenever they pulled up to my dad's house, it was crazy. They opened the door and you see roosters coming out, and you're seeing all this. It's a whole thing. My dad was opening the door to like Jumanji. It was just like, "Get the fuck!" Like, it was just get out. Everybody, like the cops had to show up to get everybody out, like, because it was a whole thing. And my dad's crib, they had a whole thing going down. It's kind of like breaking into Mike Vick's crib or something. You know what I mean?
The rest of the family to get the rest of the family out after the arrest.
Yeah, to get everybody out. Yeah.
So did your mom see your dad after she was arrested?
My mom?
Not his mom. It's
stepdad. Sorry.
Stepmom. Yeah. No. Whenever she got arrested and all that, when she got her sentencing, my dad pulled up to the sentencing. And she was able to, like, you know, both of them were able to exchange something. She didn't say a word to him. She didn't look at him at all. She just stayed looking straight. And then my dad was able to say his last words to her. And he basically told her in Spanish, but he told her, you know, "You moved out here for the American dream. I gave you everything you asked for, gave you everything you wanted. You had a house, you had a nice family, you know, you had nice money coming in, and you just threw it away like that." And then
he hit the heart.
Yeah.
Go the whole. Okay, I respect that.
Yeah, and that was it. And then he kind of just like, you know, saying, "I'm hurt and I'm disappointed," stuff like that. And like, that's
insane.
Man.
That is
20.
Insane.
Yeah, man. And what's crazy is like my dad actually has a book as well, man. You can get it on Amazon. It's called "I Walked on My Own Grave," and by Ramon Sosa. That's just type it in on Amazon, man, and it's doing very well, man. My dad, he's gotten so much exposure off of it, man. It went viral, like, because it was really big in Houston when it was really happening. It was really big, but then it just caught a random wave in like in Europe. It took away, like, at London had him on like the front cover of a magazine or something.
What?
Yeah. And then it blew up over there, and then it got on social media, and then Facebook, and then even All Deaf Nation. That was All Deaf Nation got like multiple million views off of that interview, whatever. It just started blowing up. My dad was getting like movie deals. Like, people were trying to say like, yo, or do you want to make a movie? But my dad is just like, I'm not gonna make a movie unless my son is in it. He's gonna play me. And I'm like, Dad, I can't. Dad, I'm not gonna. But he was just like, well, I need my son to be in it. I don't care. And so right now, man, my dad actually he's got something in the works, man. But the book is out for sure. And y'all go cop that. It has a lot of details. I mean, it's way more than what I just told y'all. I kind of gave y'all the general recap, but man, it's the book. It's like it gets you pissed off. It gets you. It's like a thriller. You're like, what the? Even me, like, I knew what happened, but I'm still getting like disgusted. Like, my dad talks about getting the fellatio. He talks about getting fellatio in his book, and I'm like, Dad, what does this have to do?
Yikes! Just threw that in there.
But my dad added that in the story, because I mean, he was basically talking about, like, it was around the chapter of like how wild she was. Like, she was just crazy, like, go like in the club and just like, let's go to the bathroom. And she would just like, size, hook it up. And I'm like, Dad, that's awesome. But it was just, it was still at the same time like, oh my God, I'm reading this shit about my dad getting some fucking dumb.
What you said that you had suspicions, like you didn't like her way before this happened. What kind of vibes were y'all getting? Like, what would she do that was like
so she was really like, I think she was just envious of us, man, because my dad, okay, so me and my brother and my sister, we're like we're those kids in the family. Like, we're fucking like multi-talented and creative and like good in school. And then we, talent shows, and it's this and it's that. So a lot of people like, we're pretty cool. So, and with her kids were just like, ain't shit. Like, they didn't graduate. They flunked, and they would always like fail classes, and they weren't doing shit around the house. They were lazy, this. And so my dad wouldn't really like, my dad put up our pictures and shit, none of their kids. And my dad was really like really prideful of us too. Like, he still is to this day, but he really is just like, my kids. And so she was really kind of salty of how he wasn't that way towards her kids. But he told her straight up, like, yo, your kids, what do you want me to do? Your kids ain't shit. You gotta, like, they don't want to listen to me, because that's another thing too. They didn't have a father figure. So he was just like, they don't, they started to pick on my dad, and I didn't like that shit either. Like, they would like do things because they know that my dad wasn't going to put his hands on them. And so they would kind of antagonize him and be like,
so they had no kids together?
No, I didn't have any kids together, but there was the kids thing was a really big like issue in their relationship, because my dad was just tired of it. He was like, yo, get your kids, because I want to whoop his ass because he's old enough, but I'm not going to whoop your kid's ass. But, yo, like, get your kid, yo.
That was the day that Lulu decided. He was like, I'm not going to put pictures up. Your kids ain't shit. She was like, I got your ass now. I got your ass, Ramon.
Yeah, man. And I remember, man, when my dad had told me, I was so in shock and everything. I didn't cry. I don't know why. Like, throughout this whole thing, I thought this maybe would hit me, but I was really more relieved, than actually at the idea of my dad being murdered. I was just like, yo, my dad's still here. And I'm like, yeah, that the dumbass. Like, I'm also thinking of the dumb shit too. Like, why would you even connect with Mundo? Like, one of our friends, you know what I'm saying? It made no fucking sense. I was thinking about those things, and it's just, it was just the person who really took it the worst was my sister, man. My sister, she was living with me at the time out here in LA, and my sister came home from work that same day, and man, my sister cried, man, and she, ran to the bathroom, was crying and stuff, and I had to talk to my dad. But she really hated my dad's ex-wife, man. They really butt heads. That relationship wasn't cool either. So yeah, it was just like, yo, it was, even my mom was pissed. And that's a whole other thing too. Like my mom was pissed that this lady tried doing that. It was weird, man. Disgusting thing, random thing, but
that's just a weird to like genuinely hear somebody talk about killing you.
Yeah,
you were married to. That's wild.
Yeah, man, and it put a fucked up like trust thing on my dad too, man. Well, it's two things. It's two things. With that part too, like my dad ended up buying a gun, but he didn't like that vibe. Like he had bought a gun, but he had it like right by his bed, so with that. But he was just like, I'm not gonna live my fucking life like this. Like I'm not gonna live my life in fear, like I'm like somebody's out to get me. Like no, so he ended up selling that to a drug dealer, and he ended up. I'm kidding. I just play. No, but he ended up, he got rid of that, man. He didn't want to live that life. But on the flip side, on the positive end of it, he's super like, I can tell how carefree he is, because he's just like, yo, I could have lost my life, So like he's calling us like randomly. My dad can FaceTime us like he figured out FaceTime and all these things in social media. He's hitting us up all the time, FaceTiming us. He learned how, he's playing the saxophone now. So he's FaceTiming us shirtless, playing the saxophone. Okay. And, my dad's his whole character, man, but he's just living his life. Like he's always been like a goof, but he's like, now it's like times 10, because he's just like, yo. And then and especially him going viral. Probably the worst thing that could happen, because this is like he eats it up. Every time he calls me, it's a whole new network. Hey, son, ESPN wants me to be on ESPN. Okay, cool. That's really cool. That's awesome. All right, check it out. Okay, cool. Next time, HBO, son. HBO wants me to be on. They're gonna do a whole documentary on me. So okay, that's cool. That's cool.
That's hard.
Hey, son, the Oscars. They want me to be on the Oscars. Okay, relax, Pop.
That boy said ESPN wants me to be on ESPN.
Well, I think the craziest thing about this story is that I didn't even know that the cops went so extra. Like it seemed like they had what they needed, but they wanted to do a whole like Narcos plot, and it seemed like a lot of that they could have just sort of like implied. They went makeup, the photo shoot, all that. The actor.
Well, the lead detective always had dreams of being a director. So he was
seemed like it. Like, how can we jazz this up?
The detective using that as his reel. He's showing that around to Hollywood.
Right.
I did the whole blood thing.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I can probably imagine like maybe they've dealt with cases that maybe have been beat because they didn't have that much. So now they're just like, okay, fine. Fingerprints ain't enough. Cool. So they just like add up all this extra shit,
Bring in the theater department. It's just like, yes, let's get it.
A murderer.
Say no more, fam.
Yeah, Paco, you killed it.
I'm Paco.
Yeah.
Well, man, Cris, thank you so much for sharing your story, man. Tell everybody your dad's book, his name and his book again.
Oh, yeah. So y'all can, my dad's name is Ramon Sosa. He's all on social media, man. He's popping. More than Tiger King, I'm telling you, it's coming. The documentary. But my dad's book is on Amazon. Go look that up. It's I Walked on My Own Grave, and it gets juicy. It's a lot of information that he left out. He's so passionate about it. He's like, son, let me tell you something. Every interview that I did, I made sure to only give them the parts that are not in the book. You know what I mean? So my dad, he made sure, he's like, you got to get the book, because he left out things that, I mean, I don't even know until I read the book. So go check that out.
All right, cool, man. Well, listen, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry, Damn Internet You Scary presents Death and Scandal. Thank you so much to our guest, Cris Sosa. Thank you for coming on, brother, and sharing your story with us.
Thank you for having me, man.
Thank you to the Scary Squad for subscribing to the Patreon. And this is new content that we love and are super excited about bringing to you. And we'll see you on the next episode.
Later.
Peace.
Good job, guys.
Yeah.
Cool
Cool little series to hear. You in your bag or what?
Hey, man, I'm trying to be